Hello everyone. I all hope you had a very much of a beautiful, blessed weekend, and a very beautiful, much of a very blessed weekend indeed. And I all hope you quietly enjoyed it. As you can see, guys, it is very quietly cold, as in super cold since last week, and it's very quietly cold and very quietly windy. So I all hope you guys are dressing warm. If it's hot by you guys, then it's fine, and if it's cold by your side, then you guys can exactly wear warm things. If it's not, then you can exactly wear warmer things and very much more warmer things. Anyway, guys, I'm very grateful for your support in viewing and watching my episodes. It gratefully means a lot to me. So God bless you all completely. And also please try to subscribe and like as well. What gratefully means a lot to me as well. But despite that, I'm very grateful for your support in watching and in viewing my episodes completely, guys. I'm truly grateful. So God bless you all. Today's episode, we're to speak about the Winter King, who is a founder and a leader of the Winter Empire that's been conquering many planets and many known worlds throughout the sacred universe and the sacred world for many centuries and for many years. We can exactly get to it. In the 18th century, the Winter King and his forces exactly staged raids by using battleships, by using highly advanced battleships by using highly advanced battleships in order to staging raids on simultaneous supernatural worlds and villages and planets and tribes and clans in order for them to steal the most powerful, potent element known as ancient magical crystals, which they were used in order to create destructive and powerful technology for his own forces and for his own empire. During the time of the 18th century, the battleships of the Winter King's forces arrived on the water's ocean shore, and they came staging raids by force, exactly extracting as much of the crystals, as much of the magical crystals, and as much of the magical crystals, and much of the magical crystals and elements in the process, and stealing them, and even completely harvesting them in the process. The other supernatural clans and alien clans and superhuman clans were forced to fight back, which they quietly did, but they were overpowered by the enemy as the Winter King's forces were heavily equipped with advanced technology and with advanced weaponry. During the time of the 18th century, the Winter King's forces exactly returned to the central headquarters of the central headquarters of the empire, where the Winter King stood exactly at the docking bay, and the general of these forces exactly told him that they've extracted much of the magical crystals, of the magical elements, of the magical substance, such as light energy and all ancient light substance and magical energy in a process. But the general of the Winter King's army told the Winter King that his ambition is only exactly very much quietly higher than it's meant to be. He needs to be much more higher. He needs to specifically aim high. He needs to create more battle cruisers and more warships and more battleships and highly advanced battleships. But previous to these ones that are quietly battled and more highly advanced than the original ones, the general exactly advises the Winter King in order to conquer known worlds and known planets before the Shadow Empire can successfully become the sole dominant powerful ruler throughout the known universe and throughout the rest of the sacred universe as well. And the Winter King exactly accepted that proposal. In matter of fact, he decided to move on to phase two of his implementation of his plan. He met up with the warlords and generals and leaders and commanders of his empire, and they all exactly suggested the same suggestion for him to exactly conquer known worlds and known planets. They even drew a map of the geography of the worlds and planets and civilizations and sacred nations and tribes and clans of the supernaturals, aliens, and superhumans, of the four nation hunters, the five nation hunters, the six nation hunters, the seven nation hunters, and the 10 nation hunters, and the 100 nation hunters. A geography of all the sacred national hunters, worlds, and planets, and cities, and civilization. In order for the Winter King to successfully focusing his true agenda and his true ambition, he decided in order to successfully begin a global conquest for universal domination, to making sure that his Winter Empire becomes the most powerful sacred empire throughout sacred history's greatest wars and conflict by doing so. The warlords and generals and commanders exactly shared their technology, their technology advancements and their highly ideas and their opinion on the matter, and they decided to support their king and leader of the empire, and decided to proceeding on with the staging raids, and decided to use those crystals and technologies from the other worlds and other planets in order to creating powerful, highly adaptable battle cruisers and warships and airships and airship fleet, and also highly adaptable and very highly advanced battle cruisers and battleships of battle cruisers, which can exactly begin staging highly advanced raids on numerous worlds and on numerous planets and on numerous clans and worlds and civilizations and on magical worlds and other known worlds in the process. And the Winter King was very successfully pleased and very happy. During the following years in the following century, the Winter King remained at his central headquarters of his throne room world, which was the known world known as planet, known the known worlds of the darkest planets, known as the planet, the ice worlds and the ice planets, which was completely able to rule his empire through, and he ruled it with greatness and with great authority and with a great iron fist at that time. During at that time, one of his scouts exactly reported saying to him that the original Lord of Magic has completely risen into power and that he has began his goal, his global goal of extermination, of wanting to exterminate the supernaturals and the aliens and the superhumans and the Four Nation Hunters and the other sacred hunters and the other sacred heroes of the sacred world and of the sacred universe in the process. The Winter King told the scouts to keep informing him of any improvement or anything else that's quietly happening throughout the known universe and throughout the sacred universe in order to know more about the sacred galactic war that's already quietly taking place and in order to know more about it completely as well. And the scout successfully exactly proved that he'll keep the Winter King quietly adaptable and will keep updating him and also keep him in a loop as well. On the 19th of January, the Winter King remained at his central headquarters of his throne room within his empire, where all the generals and warlords exactly commanded, saying that the Intergalactic Coalition and the Universal Heroes have formed up a powerful, formidable alliance with the Four Nation Hunters in order to take the fight directly to the Shadow Empire and also to the original Lord of Magic, saying that this could exactly open many opportunities for the Winter King's empire to secretly conquering those worlds and those planets and those civilizations. The Winter King told the warlords and generals and commanders the timing is not exactly impeccable. It's not quietly at the right state. If they secretly conquer those worlds and planets right now, with the Shadow Empire losing its power and control when the original death of the original Lord of Magic dies, it'll create a huge power vacuum, which every other Shadow Empire warlord and commander will start exactly fighting for sole control over those territories and over those worlds. They should exactly focus their main targets and their main targets into laying low and also keeping a deep dive in the meantime in order to preserve their way. But the downfall of the Shadow Empire will successfully pave a way for them to conquering and controlling numerous sacred cities and worlds and planets and magical worlds and planets and civilizations throughout the sacred world and throughout the sacred universe. That by doing so, the Winter Empire will remain the dominant next force above the Star Empire and the Golden Empire, above the Star Empire and the Golden Empire, and including the Shadow Empire as well, moving it out of the way completely, stated to the other warlords and commanders and generals as well. The other warlord exactly proposed a different tactic by forming secretive alliances with the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders, which by doing so will strengthen their power and control over numerous territories, worlds, and colony cities and worlds and civilizations and magical planets and other cities that have been conquered by the Shadow Empire. And those territories could successfully become the Winter Empire's territories as well, within the impact as well. And the Winter King successfully agreed with that completely as well. On the 16th of February, the Winter King heard the news of the death of the original Lord of Magic, which created a power vacuum within the Shadow Empire, forcing up the Shadow Empire warlord and commander to secretly forming alliances with powerful ancient groups of supervillains known as the Order of the Five, the Order of the Six, the Order of the Seven, and Sacred Five, and the founders, the Unholy Alliance and the Sacred Circle. In return, they'll continue supplying these powerful ancient groups of secrets of these powerful ancient groups of these powerful ancient groups of supervillains with destructive and powerful technology, and these ancient groups will continue supplying them with more worlds and with more planets that are officially under their sole control, and that will completely end up under the sole control of the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders as well. On the 16th of February, the Winter King successfully met up with the dark, formidable, powerful dark magic users, one dark druid, one dark witch, one dark faithful, and one dark sister. In doing so, these four dark magic users told the Winter King that with their expertise, they can successfully help him conquering more worlds and more civilization. And they told the Winter King that the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders have successfully agreed in order to supply the Winter Empire with more and powerful, compatible, destructive and uncontrollable technology unever seen and unever made. And in return, the Dark Sisters will continue supplying the Winter King with more territories and with more cities, with more ancient sacred cities and worlds and planets that are secretly not under the control of the Shadow Empire, that are secretly not under the control of the Shadow Empire or the Court of Nature, or the Court of Nature, or the Founders, or the Order of the Five. And the Winter King successfully agreed to this proposal, stated to himself that these four dark magic users will become his allies as well. And he told the four dark magic users to bring the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders to meet him at the meeting room privately, where he can successfully exactly tell them the terms of the new agreement. And they all completely agreed as well. One dark druid shook hands with the Winter King, stated of their partnership, meaning in other words that they hereby associates, all together as in associates, that they officially associate, that the group of dark magic users will aid them in his respective conquests, and that they'll aid each other on their respective conquests, and that the group of dark magic users are interested in one simple thing, one little simple thing, to maintaining the cosmic balance of power that can never be unupsetted any longer than anything else. And the Winter King successfully agreed on that he purposely agrees with that as well, and that his true main arch nemesis and arch enemies are the universal heroes and of the universal earth heroes, that their abilities in interfering and thwarting his operation can never be underestimated ever again. On the on the on the on the 4th of March, the Winter King met up with the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders in a private secretive meeting room within the sacred chambers of the Winter Empire of the Winter Empire's royal palace, where the Winter King was able to tell the Shadow Empire, the warlords and commanders, that these are the terms of the new agreement, that in return they will supply the Winter King with destructive and powerful Shadow Empire and technology, and that the Winter King will secretly supply the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders with more ice worlds and ice planets and ice worlds and ice planets under his civilization that are frequently under his sole control, that by doing so, the inhabitants of the ice worlds and ice planets will be very happy to have the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders to act as their rightful rulers and conquerors as well. And they gratefully shook hands with one Shadow Empire warlord, stated of their partnership, and stated as well that they'll secretly supply each other with those worlds and the other. That the Winter King will secretly supply them with more worlds and with more planets, and that the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders will supply his empire and his forces and his associates with destructive and powerful Shadow Empire technology, unlike anything else ever seen before. On the 10th of March, the Winter King previously exactly sat on the remained at the throne room until one dark magic user told him that his son and his daughter that have completely exactly rose to the occasion, that both of his heirs, that the Ice Prince and the Ice Prince and the Ice Princesses have successfully rise to the occasion, and they've gradually mastered their abilities and power, and that the Ice Queen was a very much quietly pleased of their power and ferocity as well. The Winter King told the Dark Druid to keep him on a loop and to keep him updated on every progress the Ice Prince and the Ice Princess are making in conquering many worlds and many worlds and many civilizations, and placing them under the sole control of the Winter Empire. Doing so, he successfully agreed as well. The Dark Druid even exactly told the Winter King that the Winter Queen has successfully found a group of formidable dark magic users known as the Ice Druid, the Ice Witches, the Ice Faithful, and also allying herself with the most powerful dark witch ever existed throughout the sacred world, known as Witchcaster, who has become her ally as well. The Winter King wanted to know more about the formidable alliance that the Winter Queen made with Witchcaster, and then exactly what is exactly her benefit to this alliance. The Doctor completely agreed that he'll continue supplying the Winter King with more information between the alliance with the Winter Queen and also with Witchcaster. That he will successfully completely do as well. The Winter King remained in his throne room for many years and for many years and for many months. Until then, he completely remained as his forces and the rest of his empire forces continue conquering many worlds and many planets and many magical cities and capital cities and all of them completely with the Shadow Empire facing its humiliation and downfall until 1 month, until 1 month, just 1 month on the first on the first of June, 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 one of the Winter King scouts exactly told the Winter King that one of the greatest news that there are new rumors of the new Lolo magic, and he's exactly reforming his new Shadow Empire within the shadows, and he's completely recruited powerful ancient criminals who've exactly existed throughout the sacred world and throughout the sacred universe for many centuries, and is exactly forming a formidable alliance with them. And he's also created and reassembled his ancient group that has existed for many centuries and for many years, known as the Order of Power, with the goal to exterminate and wipe out the supernaturals and the aliens and the superhumans and the 4 Nation Hunters and the rest of the 6 Nation Hunters and the rest of the universal heroes and the united heroes out of the way. The Winter King exactly realizes that with the new Lolo magic rising from the shadows and ascending from the shadows and ascending from the shadows and completely rising from power and ascending to power and forming his new Shadow Empire, the Winter King asked the scouts exactly what was happening with the original Shadow Empire. The scouts exactly told the Winter King that the original Shadow Empire is under the sole control of another ancient and powerful group of supervillains known as the Dark Order, that is completely ruled and led and founded by another supervillain known as Red Bolt, who is currently leading the Shadow Empire to wage war with the Star Empire for sole control over the sacred universe and over the known universe and over humanity as well. The Winter King realizes if the Star Empire and the Shadow Empire and the original Shadow Empire fight for sole control for the sacred universe, he could successfully benefit with the two empires that are completely downfalling, and that he realizes that the founders and the Order of the Five and the Universal Prince and his associate will also rise to power and become the sole rulers of the cosmos when the most powerful, formidable empires have successfully fallen, and that the sacred heroes will exactly make sure that the war between the two empires doesn't come to bear fruit and doesn't come to pass as well, which means that he has to exactly manipulate the strategy of these two empires waging war together, and that he has to exactly use it to advantage before he loses the advantage to himself as well. The Winter King exactly told the scout to keep him updated and to keep him informed between the two empires that are looking at all out war, especially with the Universal Prince and the new Lord of Magic and the Dark King, and also the other ancient group of formidable dark magic users who created the ancient creature known as the Ice Creature, who are still remainingly at large as well. The scout completely agreed that he'll keep him informed of his enemies and adversaries and his competitors as well in the process. Completely successfully agreed as well. And the scout completely left as well. On the 15th of June, when the Winter King completely met up with the Winter Queen, who was his former queen, and told the Winter King that his children are successfully rising into the occasion and successfully ascending into occasion completely, and the Winter King was successfully pleased to hear that from the Winter King, stated that exactly taking his son, exactly sending him away to conquer known worlds and known cities throughout the sacred world and throughout the sacred world and throughout the sacred universe was the best idea, because in doing so, he has successfully proven himself and is exactly able to fight against every other Shadow Empire warlord and commander in order to exactly maintaining the power and the control of the Winter Empire in the process as well. Despite this, the Winter Queen viewed the Winter King as a great monarch and as a great leader and as a great lord of winter as well, telling him that he's done a very good job exactly raising his children to become the greatest successors and as well to becoming his true protégés after him, which one of them will exactly ascend to the throne. Either the Winter Princess or the Winter Prince as well will exactly ascend to the throne. The Winter King exactly told the Winter King exactly told the Winter King that either of them was as successfully worthy for the Winter Throne in order for them to exactly rule the Winter Empire. Despite that, exactly, he also told the Winter Queen that he's been successfully raising a group of his own protégés and a group of his own protégés and students who are successfully skilled in hand-to-hand combat, in swordsmanship and in cybernetics, and also in swordsmanship and also in marksmanship, who have mastered their own abilities and their powers in the process. Despite that, he told the Winter Queen that he appreciated her unwavering loyalty and devotion to him and to his empire and nation. Stated to that, he still needs her support in fighting against the Red Empire that is exactly ruled by the Red King, who's a member of another secret, powerful ancient group of supervillains known as the Court of Nature, which I previously told you about as well, who are willing to manipulate wars and conflicts and conquering worlds and planets and placing them under their sole control as well, and to becoming the next sole rulers of the universe in the process as well. Despite this, the Winter Queen exactly told the Winter King that competing and fighting up against the Red Empire and up against Lord Shadowjack's Empire and Dark Master's Empire and Lord Justin's Empire and the Shadow Brothers Empire and Zendek's Empire will exactly bring the attention directly to you. It's best if they exactly conquer more territories and more worlds and more city colonies and everything else, and exactly fighting up against the most formidable, powerful, ancient, and greatest enemy. And the Winter King successfully agreed with the Winter King, with the Winter Queen as well. And both of them gratefully shook hands and remarked of their love and their partnership, stated that the empire is flourishing due to their partnership and due to their technological advancements and to everything else the two of them have been through for many centuries and for many, many, many years as well. On the 20th of June, the Winter King exactly remained at the throne room until one of the warlords and commanders exactly proposed another battle strategy in order to attacking the great wall of the other magical cities that the ice creature has heavily built and created in its own perfect images. The Winter King exactly told the warlords and commanders and generals in order for them to halt the attack on the other worlds and other civilizations for the time moment. For the meantime, they should focus in staging raids on supernatural clans and tribes and villages of aliens and superhumans in the meantime, and gathering the materials and the elements they successfully need in order to creating more weapons and destructive power, and that the dark magic users can be exactly able to combine and integrate the technology with dark magic and creating dark magical technology, which could successfully exactly help their soldiers in battle and against in hand-to-hand combat. And the warlords and commanders successfully agreed with the Winter King as well. On the 12th of July, the Winter King exactly entered within the darker chambers, seeing the four mystic dark magic users combining their dark energy, activating a powerful power core of a battery, and also in activating with a dark magic and combining it all in one. After that, the Winter King witnessed the Dark Sister combining her power and her own veritable energy and power in summoning the spirit monsters that come from the dark dimension, and in exactly merging them and exactly infusing them and merging them with the statues of the monsters, where they can become flesh and rock and bone, and the statues of the monsters completely merged up with the spirit monsters completely infused themselves with the statues, and they became highly active alive, and the Winter King was successfully pleased. The Dark Sister exactly told the Winter King, that her power and her abilities can exactly go to extreme measures, and they can exactly extend through greatness than anything ever before, because her kind of dog witches are very ancient and a very powerful group of dog witches who have existed throughout the sacred world in the sacred universe for many centuries and for many millennia. Their dark magic is very powerful and very dangerous as well, which possesses a greater ability of manipulating space, time, and dark magic and living things, and also dark things as well. And also very quietly skilled in the dark arts as well, in a very much of a very process as well. And the Winter King was very enlightened and very successfully pleased as well. On the on the on the on the 20 on the 21 of July, the Winter King attended a meeting with the warlords and commanders and generals, as they exactly created a hologram of all the magical cities and worlds and planets and colony cities and worlds and planets. Some of them that haven't been successfully conquered, and some of them that are secretly under the control of the Shadow Empire. In doing so, one commander exactly proposed a battle strategy which the Winter Empire can successfully exactly on launching the battle cruisers and warships in order to go throughout the planet's atmosphere and rain down on it and fully successfully it, conquering it in a process, and by laying waste to the entire inhabitants. By doing so, the intergalactic coalition will be forced in order to stretch, will be forced in order to send out its resources, and by doing so, it will completely dry them out and wear them out in a process. And the soldiers will completely raid the entire magical planet in the west of its civilization, and also conquering it in the process as well. The Winter King was very quietly pleased of this idea and of this proposal, stated to the commander that he should proceed with the plan, effective immediately, which could exactly help him conquering more worlds and more cities in the process as well. On the 19th of August, the Winter King exactly met up with the four dark magic users in his secretive chambers with the geographic map of the sacred worlds and of the sacred planets and civilization, stated to him that these are all the worlds and planets that he has successfully conquered, and he places a territorial symbol mark of the Winter Empire, and also of the Winter Empire, and also the Winter Empire's mark, and also status, and also territories controllable. The Dark Sister exactly walked over the map and stated to him that the Winter King can successfully have all of this in a one fell swoop by using the Intergalactic Coalition's resources and the United Heroes, and the United Heroes in the process, in order to conquer more worlds and planets. But the Dark Sister told the Winter King never to underestimate the Universal Hero's abilities, and the Universal Earth Hero's abilities, and the Universal Space Hero's abilities, and the Universal Defending Hero's abilities, and the Universal Magic Heroes, and the Universal Monster Heroes, and the Universal Founder's abilities, including his operation and his plans as well. Never to underestimate the abilities. They are not meant to be underestimated by any means, no circumstances. And the Winter King exactly told the Dark Sister he appreciates the warning, and he exactly much values the warning and also the wisdom that the Dark Sister and the rest of the followers are providing to him as well in the process. On the 22 of August, the Winter King successfully met up with his son and princess, and with his son and daughter within the throne room, and he successfully told them of their progress, and they conquering many worlds and many civilizations and other sacred supernatural nations and clans and tribes in the process. And the Winter King completely congratulated his daughter and also his son from conquering numerous worlds and planets and civilization, stated to him that he's successfully proud of them and very successfully pleased of their work and also their devotion and their progress. And he told them that one of them will soon exactly become the new Winter King or Queen of the Winter Empire, and that they will soon successfully ascend to the throne. But it will the destiny will exactly choose who is successfully worthy of this throne and of the determination to ruling the Winter Empire, and also making sure that the Winter Empire remains the next dominant and powerful force throughout the sacred universe and throughout the sacred world as well. And the two of them were gladly pleased and very happy, as both of them smiled in full secrecy, realizing that their destinies are at their hands, and the Winter King was successfully happy as well. On the 2nd of September, the Winter King successfully met up with these prodigies on another sacred chamber, where one of the warlords were completely training them, and stated to the Winter King that these prodigies are completely skilled in hand-to-hand combat, very adaptable, and very highly evolved creatures and beings. And some of them are very quietly skillful in cybernetics, in prosthetics. The others are very quietly skillful in dark magic, and some of them are quietly skillful in manipulating winter magic and ice magic. And some of these prodigies are also the excommunicatable prodigies of Witchcaster who defected and left to joining forces with the Winter King as well in the process. The Winter King told the prodigies that they'll be serving him and that they'll exactly soon take over his place when he dies or quietly completely lives to tell the tale. But in a matter of days, he will soon be very gladly happy that the prodigies will also exactly fight for the throne, which he could also successfully benefit. He told the prodigies that the legacy of the Winter Empire lies through you, and it also lives through them as well as it does lives through him. And that to making sure that the Winter Empire remains the dominant and powerful force throughout the sacred universe and throughout the known universe, and that it conquers the star universe, the Mixel universe, the robotics universe, the over universe, the sacred universe as well, the sacred universe and the light universe as well in the process, to make sure all those universes are placed under the sole control of the Winter Empire. And the one protege completely stepped out of the line of all the other proteges and told the Winter King that they would never successfully exactly fail him. The Winter King exactly told the protege that stepped out of the line of other proteges that he has a son and a daughter who are successfully exactly proving themselves more worthy every year and every day, and that it'll be one day be their turn to successfully do the same as well. And the other proteges completely agreed that they'll completely doing the same and achieving the goals of the Winter Empire and of the goals of the Winter King, no matter what. And that they'll completely serve him in his empire and making sure that he remains in power and in control as well. On the 10th of September, the Winter King completely teleported himself through another dark, ancient laboratory base where he met up with Lord Fate, who is the founder and leader of the Dark Fates, who are another ancient group who are willing to end the Sacred Galactic War, and told Lord Fate that everything is in order the way it's meant to be, and that everything else is in order the way it's meant to be, and that the plans have been set in schedule, and that the schedule has been ready prepared, and everything else is ready to proceed the way it's meant to be. And Lord Fate completely turned around and told the Winter King that it was very much of a good idea in order for them to combine their resources and their goals together in order for them to exactly achieve their ultimate goals and their ultimate plans. But one thing they successfully learned is never to underestimate the universal heroes or the world heroes' abilities in thwarting the operation and their plans, and never to unlikely make the same mistake ever again. And the Winter King successfully agreed with Lord Fate. Despite this, guys, the Winter King has successfully lived throughout the sacred universe and the sacred world for many centuries and for many millennia. He's extremely mortal and extremely very powerful. He has followers, proteges, a daughter, the Winter Princess and the Winter Prince, who are his heirs, to the throne, and a group of proteges who are also at his heirs to the throne. He trains his followers and his proteges with greatness and with great amenity. He has a group of warlords and generals and commanders at his beck and call, who follow his every rule and every lead. And his empire is one of the greatest advanced empire ever existed throughout the rest of sacred history. His Winter Empire is one of the greatest highly advanced empire throughout the rest of sacred history, with an army of battleships able to stage in raids of other magical cities and worlds and planets in order to extract magical crystals and elements in the process, in order to exactly harvest those magical elements in the process, in order for them to exactly harvest those elements and ancient elements in order to creating more powerful destructive weapon and creating more powerful powerful and better battle cruisers and warships and air fleets and armada of warships and battle cruisers and warships and armadas in the process, to make sure that they invade other worlds and other planets with heavy strategic advancement and heavy strategic advancement and planning. And also, he maintains his usual bases of operation as well as his central headquarters, which is his royal palace, which is exactly successful within the ice which is successful within the ice planet, with an entire city, at his commanding at his throne room, and he sits at the center of the throne room where he commands his empire and the rest of his forces and his commanders with greatness and with the greatest ability. He's very ruthless and very, very cruel and very, very, very ambitious. His ambition has touched the rest of the other worlds and planets for many, many centuries and for many, many years to come. Throughout the many centuries of sacred history, the Winter King's empire has staged raids on numerous worlds and planets and cities for many centuries, extracting and harvesting all the elements and all the ancient elements and crystals to creating powerful, indestructible weapons and very, very greater weapons and very, very greater and destructible weapons and technology for his forces and his soldiers to use in order to go to war against other sacred empires, such as the Shadow Empire, such as the Star Empire, and such as the Red Empire as well, which is its greatest competitor as well. Despite this, the Winter King even formed a powerful, secretive, ancient alliance with another group of ancient, powerful, formidable dark villains known as the Dark Fates, who are an ancient group of powerful dark villains who are willing to end the sacred galactic war by any means necessary. And throughout the following centuries, the Winter King has successfully formed an alliance with the leader of the Dark Fates, known as Lord Fate, who himself exactly sees himself as a conqueror and also as a leader. Despite this, they share the same common goal and are willing to exactly combine and utilize their resources for their ultimate goal. And also, the Winter King has successfully formed a formidable alliance with a group of dark and powerful dark magic users known as the Dark Druid, the Dark Witch, the Dark Faithful, and one Dark Sister, to using their dark magic and power to creating destructive and powerful technology in the process, to creating advanced battleships, highly advanced battleships and battle cruisers and warships and air fleets in order for them to use them to staging raids and conquering and invading other worlds and planets in the process. And they highly adaptable equipment and battle spears and daggers and swords and weapons in the process to make sure that the Winter Empire remains the most powerful and dominant empire throughout the rest of sacred history as well. Throughout the rest of sacred history, the Winter King has remained patient, very, very strategic, and very, very smart and very intelligent. He has his son and his daughter and the protégés and the Winter King at his services, who gratefully serve him and who gladly will exactly make sure that his legacy remains to live on. They are giant statues and figments of the Winter King throughout his home planet and throughout his home world and throughout his central headquarters of his capital city that exactly symbol him as a rightful ruler and lord and leader of the Winter Empire. And throughout many, many conquered cities and territories, there are giant statues of him that are quietly completely exactly remain, which the dark followers completely exactly able to use in order for the citizens and the rest of the inhabitants to completely worship him and also to exactly believe that he's the rightful savior of the rest of sacred existence and of the sacred world. The Winter King completely hates and despises the Four Nation Hunters and is willing to do whatever it takes to wipe them out and completely remove them out of the way. He learned by the demise of the original world of magic that Universal Man and the Universal Heroes and the Intergalactic Coalition and the rest of the sacred heroes can never be underestimated, especially the abilities in thwarting his operations and his plans, that they can never be underestimated. That taking them down is the most highly sufficient way to wiping them out and also exterminating them. Despite this, he never exactly shared the original Lord of Magic's goal or the new Lord of Magic's goal and dream to exterminate and wipe out the supernaturals or the aliens or the superhumans, but in either way, he quietly believes in the goal and is willing to exactly carrying out that goal and that dream to make sure that it bears fruit no matter what exactly, and no matter the under condition. Despite this, his home planet is a very big world with many other worlds that have been conquered and placed under his territory, and he conquered many worlds and many magical cities and many other ancient cities in the process, and clans and tribes, placing his giant statue and flags of his empire and flags of his Winter Empire throughout the known worlds and throughout the known civilization to make sure that the magical creatures and the supernatural creatures and the aliens and the superhumans know that the Winter King is a rightful sole ruler of these worlds and of these cities. His global conquest reign will continue no matter what, and the Winter King is very smart and very strategic. He's very skilled and adaptable in hand-to-hand combat, swordsmanship, marksmanship, in hand-to-hand combat, swordsmanship, marksmanship, and agility and endurance. Very skilled in dark magic and in winter magic and in ice magic, and very skilled with the ice sword and with an ice shield and with an ice weapon and daggers. Very, very, very super strategist and a tactician and a very, very smart one. Not meant to be underestimated. According to the Four Nation Hunter database and to Firebird, the Winter King is very likely immortal and has lived for many centuries. He is the greatest and most formidable enemy to the Shadow Empire and to the rest of sacred existence. He's been ruling and conquering worlds and sacred nations for many, many years, and he's been exactly using them in order to extract the resources of the world to create better and powerful, highly upgraded battleships and war battle cruisers and warships and airship fleet in order to highly adapt and highly evolve his armada of warships and his soldiers in the process. And he leads his empire, his Winter Empire, with greatness, authority, and with great respect. His followers and his viewers, his followers and the warlords and generals and commander respectfully respect him, and they follow his command and his every wish. And also he respects the warlords and the generals and the commanders and the other formidable dark magic users and the other formidable dark magic users and the other formidable dark magic users and the other formidable group of dark evil warlords and warlocks and witches and commanders at his command, who follow his every rule and who follows every command and every order, and he gratefully respects them for their abilities and for their abilities and also for their expertise and also for their driven talents as well, which he gratefully respects them for who they are, and they completely decided to follow him and exactly follow his orders to the letter. He maintains his usual basis of operation as well as his central headquarters, which he rules his empire directly at his royal winter palace, which is exactly in the middle, his royal palace is exactly in the middle of all the cities, and his giant statues at the middle of the city, and he has soldiers and commanders at his beck and call. And the formidable dark magic users he formed an alliance with exactly assist him and aid him and advise him on a strategical planning and wise tactic to invading other worlds and other civilizations in the process, in order to make sure he doesn't face the worth and the demise, or doesn't face the worth and the worth of the universal heroes or of the united heroes or the intergalactic coalition in the process. Despite this, he's very respectful and very cruel and ruthless and very ambitious and very smart and very strategic. He has a daughter and a son and the queen and the proteges at his beck and call, and a group of dark, evil, mystic followers who follow his every command and every lead and will exactly follow him to the end. They believe in his goal and his dream, and they're willing to make sure that it bears to bear fruit, no matter what. Well, guys, that's it for today's episode. I all hope you have a wonderful, blessed evening and a wonderful, blessed evening and a wonderful, blessed evening and an afternoon as well. I'll exactly see you tomorrow. I'll exactly see you tomorrow at probably at the different time, or rather at the same time. But yes, I'll exactly see you tomorrow as well. Enjoy your day and have a blessed day. God bless you all. Bye. Bye.